riding the blade, cutting straight to the heart of me. Ooh, long before I ever called your name, you were fighting for my victory. Carved in your flesh and bone, the wounds that have set my soul is forgiven. Oh, now I can feel the darkness trembling. All of my fears like Jericho walls gotta come down, come down. All of my fears like Jericho walls gotta come down, come down. Oh, my prison turns to ruin when your love moves in. All of my fears like Jericho walls gotta come down, come down, come down.
Good afternoon, everyone. For most of you, it is the afternoon. This is Karen Coffee, and you made it to day 4. Can we just get a hallelujah? Yes. Day 4 of Get Listed, Get Sold, Get Paid. And it has been so much fun for me seeing everyone, seeing you all here day after day and really committed and leaning in. Today is going to be content packed again. But before we get into that, I want to recap what we've been doing the last 4 days. So if you recall, day 1 was about unreasonable confidence, having that boldness to do what needs to be done in this 4th quarter so that you are getting the results, the income, the listings, so that you can control your business, you can diversify your business so that you're safe, that you're not at the whim of whatever is going on in the world. Back in the downturn of 08, 9, 10, 11, that was the case then as well, where you needed to really be strong with listings. You had to pivot immediately, know what to say, be bold about it. So we talked about reading your marketing and definitely knowing your stats. Second day, we talked about your niche, specializing. What are you called to? Not just being transactional, but really knowing what your market needs, what that niche marketing needs from you, and how to launch that 6 weeks from now. So 6 weeks from now, you could be fully launched with your entire database, if you weren't here, go back. We have the replays for you, and you will be planning your launch in 6 weeks' time. Now, this is something we talked about, consistent strategic action. So this is something you do over and over and over. It's not a one-time thing, and you can launch online as well as hyperlocally in your area, of course. So that was day 2. Day 3, we talked about getting those listing leads and how to convert them. So a lot of you have databases that are chock full of buyer leads. Just maybe you've purchased them from some platform or open houses or different things like that. Those leads in your database that are waving their hand saying, I am a buyer lead, 40%, and this is the latest results that came in, that 40% of those have homes to sell, and about 20%, so 50% of those are local to you. And when we did the study, we found that agents were like, oh, there's nobody in my database waiting to list. Well, I'm here to tell you they're listing with somebody else because the data is in. They listed and they didn't list with you. So make sure that you are in that list, extracting listings. And so anyway, that was yesterday. I gave you the conversation. I like to say the converting conversation or the script to convert these people. There were 2 statements that you needed to memorize. I have a database of X. And then if I can net you the amount of money that you need to sell in the next 30 days, would that be a problem for you? And then we put the context around how do you weave this in with a listing lead. What I didn't do yesterday was give you homework. So yes, today is about, I'm going to remind you of the homework I should have given you, which is I want you write this down. Again, if you don't have the workbook, my team will put the link in the chat. so that you can either go back and listen to these and take notes, or you could just write notes wherever you can find them in your own journal, your own notebook. So in today's session, I want you to find, this is your homework. It's not today's session. It was for yesterday's session, but I want you to find 5 listing leads. I don't care if you just scour, FSBO.com, if you go to, FSBO. Yeah, there's a lot of places that you could go to Zillow and find for sale by owners that they list them on there. Or you have listing leads in your database already. Just pick 5, either for sale by owners, expireds. It doesn't matter. You're going to leave messages. You're going to leave messages. Nobody's going to answer. If they do, that is amazing. Have the conversation and be expecting. Remember, it's kind of a joke. It really is comical because there's nothing new about a listing lead's objections. Their objections are, we're not going to list with an agent. We don't want to pay the commission. We are going to try it ourselves for a period of time and then maybe. So you could be looking at listing lead, might be landlords, it could be investors, it could be all kinds of people but just pick 5 and just have that, leave the message, because you'll be amazed at how easily it comes out. And the message is really, call me back or text me after you use those 2 statements. All right. If you recall from yesterday, it was, look, I have a database of X. And if I could sell your home in the next 30 days and net you what you needed from the sale, would that be a problem for you? Those are the 2 statements. So just weave those in. I want you to push. This is where that bold confidence, that unreasonable confidence comes in. Nobody really wants to do this, but we have to communicate with the people that raise their hands in this market. If we want a strong 4th quarter this year, we have to do this. We have to do this. So, all right, that is your homework from yesterday. You can write it in your notebook or write it on to your own, where you're at. Again, I'm so excited we've been talking about the real estate reinvention. The real estate reinvention is a program that was really on my heart to allow people to get coaching. If you recall, a lot of you don't know me, but if you recall, to get me in your atmosphere in the coaching, it was $3,500 a month. $3,500 a month, all day long, up and down. A lot of you were my private clients. You paid it every month. This is something that is $97 a month. $97 a month. No, I'm not getting on the phone with you and doing private coaching with you. So that is the difference. But I was not even in my coaching program, my 12-week front-end coaching program. I had great coaches. I had great mindset people, but I wasn't there teaching. And one of the things that broke my heart is when I saw an agent that was struggling and didn't break through or didn't understand, I wasn't there to help them. In this real estate reinvention, I am there. I am there twice a month, and I am in the community always to support you, answer your questions. So today at 2 p.m. Eastern, we are having a semi-private VIP mastermind. And this is a breakout with me. I'm going to be deep diving for those of you who want to join. I'm going to have my team go ahead and put the link in the chat. You can look at it. We're going to get into all this content, but this is something that I don't want to just haphazardly at the end of our time today go, oh yeah, and by the way, this is something that you need. If you are to succeed, you need a community, you need something that is going to support you with strategies and tactics and really the cutting edge things to do now. In that mastermind today, it's for those of you who want to join and you pay in full. You get to be on that mastermind. And I'm going to be sharing with you the 10 ways to sell homes that most agents don't even know about. I'm going to be sharing with those because a lot of you have signed up already. I see your faces and I know who's going to be there, but we're going to be talking about listing presentation tips. Like we're always talking about these listing leads, and I could teach for 20 days straight and not give you all the information that you need to convert these listings. So we've got all the leads. Now, how do we convert them at the listing appointment? There's tips. I know that you're good at what you do, but we're always stretching, always growing, always getting better. So I'm going to be sharing that as well. I'm going to be sharing resources and the #1 platforms that are working now to get listings. You can decide to use them or not, but you want to know what they are, because the top agents, there's no mystery except that you may not know about it and where the highest quality leads are coming from right now. Okay. So that's for if you pay in full. Listen, it is $9.97 for the year. That's a coaching with me. So I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. Like, you can do it $97 a month. Great. You get your bonuses. You get how to sell the lead magnet, how to sell your home without an agent. If you want to really take it to the next level, if you signed up for 97 and you're like, hey, I want to be in on this mastermind, just email us support@KarenCoffee.com and we'll get you in there. You can up level and you will get that mastermind, because these are things absolutely that you'll want to know. I mean, we have been filling these days full of content, and today is no different. We have really talked about getting listings. Oh, and the link is KarenCoffee.com/reinvention if you don't see it in the chat. So get on there. Join me today, 2 p.m. Eastern. If you can't make it 2 p.m. Eastern, but you pay in full, you're going to get the recordings. You'll still get all of the slides. You'll get all of the bonuses. And yeah. So the bonus of the 10 ways to sell your home that most agents don't know about is amazing. So today we're going to be talking about get sold and get paid. So I am assuming that all of you are just amazing. You've got these leads, you've got your niche, you've got your converting conversations. So now we're going to talk about how do we get them listed? How are we going to get them sold? Anybody have any ideas? Put it in the chat. What is the #1 way you use to get your listing sold? Are you doing events? Are you doing marketing to your network or marketing to... Okay, great. Marie, presentation. Whoops. Let me get in the chat here so I can see. Perfect. Boop. Outstanding pictures and videos, David. Great. And market it to your database. Great. Imminent open houses. So that's an event, right? Any other ways that you guys are using to sell your listings? Price better, look better than competition. Amen, Lori. That's good. Yes. Making sure they're priced right. Kimmy, staging. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Some of you are doing some of these things, and others, maybe you have just, it's kind of, just fallen by the wayside. And so this is a reminder for you that when it comes to listings, because they're going to sell, you're going to get paid, that we can't spare a moment or waste any time marketing that, getting it out there. But Lori has the #1 way. Price it better than its competition. It's got to be priced and it has to look better. So, imminent first-time home buyer event. Okay, Venki, staging, 3D virtual tour, and pricing it right. Exactly, Venki. And I know nobody wants to hear that, but it is worth every penny of it. If it was worth it, it would have sold. If it was worth it, it would have sold. So when you get into a listing presentation and the seller is, but I put this in and that in and whatever, and you start buying into their story of why it needs to be priced up here, and you're so scared that they're going to list with someone else, which they may. My God, I've seen it more times than I care to admit, where they didn't like what I had to say. But I am not going to have sleepless nights, 6 months of arguing with a homeowner as to why I'm not doing my job, because they think I'm not doing my job because it hasn't sold, because I was too weak and took an overpriced listing. So you're right, Yasmin. Good to see you. Social media posts with amazing photos. That's right. Or a video. Convincing those sellers to price it right. That is the #1 thing. Exactly. So these are all things. I'm going to share my screen because I think that, yes, I know. This is share. All right. And start from current slide. Yeah, there we go. See there? We have this homework, and here's your recap, just in case you needed to see it. The unreasonable confidence, the niche, the launch, memorizing those 2 statements, and then calling 5 people. All right. Number 1, price is key. Data doesn't lie. And it's okay to tell your clients that when you come into the listing presentation, it is not so you have already sent your pre-listing packet, hopefully, that has all your great things and your results and the testimonies of people that have worked with you. They have skimmed through it for the most part. You don't need to go through it again and go, oh, we IDX feed to this, and oh, here's my tablet, and these are all the yep, and showing them all the things, and that looks so slick that your company created. You need real testimonies. You need real evidence that you are the agent that they've been looking for. So you move right into your CMA, you move right into pricing. Now, there's other things you do before you sit down at the table and talk about that. We'll be talking about that in the mastermind today. But you want to make sure that you have the right data, that you stand firm on your data. Numbers don't have emotions. Homeowners do. And we understand because we've all been homeowners ourselves. We understand the gripping and I'm losing money. And right now, nobody's losing money. Prices have not come down. They are still at an all-time high. If someone says, I'm losing money, I highly doubt it. I would take out a sheet of paper and say, let's do the math. How much do you owe? How much do where is this loss that you've been talking about? Make sure that the price is right. If they just will not budge, like you have gone through the CMA, you have told them, look, the data doesn't lie. The market can only hold so much. It won't appraise. Whatever it is that might be evidence that the price is high, take them on a buyer tour in other words, of comparable homes in their price range. So say, look, we will list it today at your price, but I want to set up a buyer tour with comparable homes in this price. And let me show you why I feel your home, because you need to see what you're up against. This is a market that we didn't have 6 months ago. Things aren't flying off the shelf in most markets. Some of you are, and that's fine. You might be able to sustain that higher price. But if you know that it's not going to sell, it's not going to appraise, make sure you get that price right and say, great, we can list it at that, but let's set up a buyer tour this Saturday or Friday, and let me show your competition, and then we'll have another conversation. If I am wrong, we will keep it at your price. If I am right, we're going to have a price reduction. So I know you guys have heard this before, but some of you, when you hear pricing is the only way to get listings sold, you just numb out. You don't want to hear it. You're like, no, I am not going to walk away from a listing. I am going to take, it's up to you. You get to decide how you want to do it, but why not try to get a sellable listing instead of one that sits on the market and they are just looking at you every day going, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Right? All right. What are the next ways of getting your home sold? It is strategy session with the seller. So remember, many of you said staging, making sure that, staging was one of them. That is one of them. Once you have the home under contract and you can tell them, look, we're going to sit down and I'm going to tell you everything that we need to do. You need to start packing and get rid of that. We're going to just almost like a doctor would write a prescription. I want you to write the homeowner a prescription if you want to get it sold. I'm sorry, we can't have 4 lawnmowers sitting in the front yard with grass growing up around it. We just can't do it. We can't have 50,000 magnets on the front of your refrigerator. I'm sorry, we have to, maybe we'll move them to the side, but we can't have that front. You know what I'm saying? If there's smells in the house, you've got to take care of that. Be strong, be bold, be unreasonably confident that, and let them know, educate them. We can't do this. We have to have the smell good. Get plugins. They can afford them. Are they motivated to sell their house or not? Now, many of you aren't listing homes that need to smell good and, need cleaning, but sometimes you do. Even the luxury homes sometimes are just, they can be hoarders. I've met them. I've been to their house. So make sure the landscaping is done, that it is professional, that there's any, like if there's scuffs along the wall, make sure you guys know how to do this. I don't need to remind you, but it is about making sure that everything is perfect. So you can even say, look, I have professional photos that are coming tomorrow. I need it not only looking good or in 2 days, I need to stage it. I need to remove some furniture. And I am your doctor right now, and I am prescribing this for you if you want success in getting your home sold, if you want to get well, basically. All right. So obviously making sure that you have a strategy session. Massive marketing. You guys know this. Let me check I just saw something come over the chat, so I wanted to look at that. See if there's any questions. Okay. Hey, Robin, good to see you. That aren't selling some high-priced condos for their typical condo reasons and some less expensive, and a 1 million house that's just getting no activity. So I love this, Robin, that you bring that up, because there's a saying that I always tell my sellers when they're like, it's not overpriced. And even agents, they're like, it's not overpriced. It's right in where it needs to be. And they just sit and they sit and they sit. And this is not anything against you, Robin, because you're an excellent agent. But I'll say, if you listed it for $1, now this is dramatic, right? Just nobody would do that. But if you listed it for $1, do you think it'd have activity? Do you think it would sell? Do you think that people would be beating the door down? Do you think you would get multiple offers? And this is not to you, Robin, this is to everybody. Yes, you would. Yes, you would. No one's going to do that. But what I'm saying, there is a continuum. There is a price between $1 and where you have it priced now, that when you bring it to that tipping point, it will sell. It will sell. And it may be that the next door neighbor sold in 2 days, just 2 weeks ago, and yours is sitting there for unknown reasons. And it's very difficult to get the seller to understand. You don't want to leave money on the table, but reminding them of their motivation, reminding them why they wanted to move, and perhaps they can make up the loss on the home that they buy, or if they're taking equity out, the investments that they make with that equity. So just always being very strong with not leaving thousands. We'll only do price reductions every 2 weeks, not before then. At least give it time. And it might be $5,000 at a time. It might be $1,000 at a time. It might be $10,000 to $20,000 at a time. So it just depends on the price range and how motivated, but leaving it on the market for those 2 weeks so that people can see it and people can actually buy it. All right. So, and let's go back. There we go. So the next way, obviously, is massive marketing. So you have a database, and we've determined that you have a database of friends and family, but you also have leads and buyer leads and seller leads. Always make sure that you are sending something out that says just, or did it again. We always say did it again, but you can say just listed, that you have this new home. Well, that's pretty elementary. That's 101. That is like a given. You should put it on socials. But here's something that you may not be doing, and that's networking with your agents in your office. And if you're going to networking events, it's not always about having a drink and a laugh. It is about, hey, what kind of buyers do you have? What are you looking for? I have something that's coming up in the next couple of weeks that might be the perfect fit for you. So making sure that you're networking with all your agents. If you don't have either a Facebook group for your brokerage, or you don't have everyone's email, you need to get that and just put it in. Hey, I just listed this. They're very motivated. If you have any buyers, let me know. Here's any incentives that we have, where you as a listing agent can tell if you're paying compensation or not. We're going to talk about that in a minute. but making sure that everyone knows about it. And there's the chat. Let me see. I lost it there for a moment. So, sounds like political candidates making promises. Exactly. All right. And David, so you were about to take a $1 million listing. Another agent said she has 3 buyers and wants their home, and one will pay $2.5 million for a $1 million home. She got the listing. 6 weeks later, none of her 3 buyers had been to see it, and she had no showings. Isn't that crazy that agents are just lying? And you're not going to be that agent. Okay. So, Toy, there's a site called Property Blast where you can send thousands of emails for very affordable price. The list includes agents and investors. I love that, Toy. Thank you for sharing that resource. So Property Blast has been around for quite a while, and it really is a good resource to use. I love that. Okay. I'm not going to read the chat anymore. All right. Now I'm back. So your massive marketing always includes other agents. Yes, investors, especially your database. Now, the last thing that, because price is so key, the last thing that I will say is events. Now, that could be what we call the 6-figure open house, where you make 6 figures off of one open house if you are following up and do all the things to bring the people in. We have just, I say we, there's a study that was done. I didn't do it, but there was a study done that buyers are attending open houses again, that they are actually looking for and attending, and they want to see something in person. They want to tour it. They're kind of kicking tires. They're seeing what they can afford. And if you make that an event, for my past clients, you know all about that. You know how to bring all of those people in and get them signed up with a lender and get them working with you and different things like that. But do these as often as you or your team can do them. So if you only have one listing, I would be doing one every weekend. If you have 2 listings, I would do them every other. I would alternate. It doesn't have to be you. You can absolutely leverage that to someone else so that you're not having to do all of that work, because it is work and it's reaching out to people and letting them know that this is going on in the neighborhood, as well as just expanding out. It's just crazy. So getting them sold, all of these marketing and the videos and the beautiful pictures, absolutely, you have to get people through the door. Reverse prospecting is another way of people that, agents that have put it in the MLS that they're looking for a certain thing, and you're reaching out and you have that listing that meets their need. Also, reverse offers. If you have some activity on your listing and it's just not getting sold, you can go to your homeowner and say, what would you take today? And it may not be much less than what it's listed for, but if a buyer came in today and they were paying cash, what would you accept? What's the lowest you would accept? Get their buy-in to say, you know what, we would take this bottom line. And then you reach out to every agent that showed your listing, and you can say, I spoke with my home seller, and I know that you showed the home last week or the week before, and they would like to make an offer to your buyer. Have they purchased anything yet? And they're like, no, they're still looking. Well, here's what they're willing to do. And there might be concessions in there. There might be, things covering their closing costs, things that are really important to the buyer. So you can make reverse offers as well. Now, one of the things that when a market slows and no homeowner wants to hear about it, they can do seller financing. Some people love this. Some people I used to love to do this because chances are I would get the property back. If they defaulted, they give a large down payment. Back in the day, it might have been $20,000. That was a large down payment. Now it's $50,000, 10%, something along those lines. And they set up a payment schedule. You have a closing, you get paid upfront at closing as agents. And if they default, you get the property back. Maybe you've had equity you've had payments buying your equity down. You have a property that's probably gone up in value. So this is not always a bad thing. And it's amazing that you do get paid. You can go to the title company or the attorney with a owner finance. You can also talk to them about renovating up to, again, they don't want to hear it. This is just to kind of shake them up into thinking, I need to do something different if I think I'm going to ask this price. So they can renovate up to their asking price. And you're like, once we do this buyer tour, you notice that all these homes that you are competing against, they have updated bathrooms, updated kitchens, they have hardwood floors and not carpet. You can talk to them about, well, you can spend the 20 grand to upgrade, and then we can list it at that, or we can reduce the price by 20 and you can sell it as is. And they can do the renovations that they want. A lot of people love to be the weekend warrior and do those sorts of things. So they can do seller financing, they could do rent to own, they could do renovations up to the listing price. None of these are great options unless you have a savvy homeowner and then they want to do the seller financing. That will probably sell it overnight because buyers, especially in today's market, they're not being able to afford. The Gen Z, they're looking at this going, I can't afford to buy a home. The interest rates are high. There's just, I don't have enough down payment. I can't get into something these days. So be thinking about all of those ways, but the price is the number one thing. And I'm sorry, I don't have this magic pill. There's not a magic platform that is going to sell it. Only price and where the industry is going to sell a home. And just getting very educated in that conversation. Remember, day one, we talked about knowing your data, getting on RPR. What is the average days on market? How many months of inventory do we have? How many sold last month? So it's really important. Anybody else have other ideas you want to put in the chat that you're using that is working? And I'm sorry, I have to sneeze. Goodness, I hope you didn't hear that. Good. Oh, okay, Kimmy. Yeah, a flex rate commission, depending on what you put into it and what you don't, and how much marketing you pay for, and all of those things. The other thing that I didn't put on this list is, as you have buyer leads coming in, it is talking to them specifically about the listing. Maybe they are looking at a price range that is 20,000 more than your listing. And you say, you know what? Let me just take you by there. Let me see what you think. It's 20,000 less than what you're looking for, but it may be that it might be perfect for you. So let's go look at it. So using your buyer, anyway, that has nothing to do with what Kimmy said, but using the flex rate commission to get the listing. Anybody have anything else that you're using to get the listing sold? Well, networking with your agents, you can always have a broker open. I know that that's kind of, some people love it, some people don't, but I just love everyone in my office knowing. Just put it in the chat. Put it in the chat if there's anything else. All right. I'm going to move that. All right, let me see here. So when we talk about getting listed, getting sold, that's where we're at, making sure we're always talking about the listings, always showing value in that listing, having the conversations with them, prescribing them what they need to do to stage it, get it looking great, taking them on a buyer tour of comparable homes so and it's good for you too. It's not just for them. So the next thing that we always talk about is getting paid. So getting paid is very important. And there are two, obviously you can have an office spreadsheet. The reason listing agents, they're now getting bombarded with calls, right? And emails. Are you offering compensation? What are you doing? I would suggest that if you don't already have it on your website, the company has a way for people to find a property either a spreadsheet they can look at or download and see what or they can have people call into the office and find out what this cooperating compensation is. The next one that I just love, there's a group of agents, leaders out of Atlanta, and they partnered with one of the #1 real estate attorney firms in the US, and they created feecentral.com, and it works in all 50 states, and it's completely compliant. It is not tied to the MLS in any way. And it is, you register, you go to feecentral.com and you register. It's free. There is no charge for it. They think they'll charge like $5 a month or something in the future if things don't change and we continue to have to use things like this. They can go in, you can go in as an agent. You have to register just so you're a part of it. And they don't want everybody in there. So you have to put your license number in what state. You register and you do a search on a property and it will tell you what the compensation is. If you have a listing, you want to get in there and put your listing in there. And it's just, here's the address. Here's what the seller has agreed to compensate or not. And that way you put the link, you get a link and you put it on your voicemail, you put it on your email, you put it everywhere you can put it in, just everywhere. Like I said, your voicemail, your email, where else? Gosh, yeah, I'm not 100% sure you can put it in agent remarks. I'm not 100% sure. I can find out. But then you can go in there. People can go in instead of calling you, or you can leave a message that's saying, hey, all of my listing compensation is at feecentral.com. Here's the link. And let people find out that way. So these are the cutting, Fee Central is just something. I love the creators of it. I love that they know what they've been doing for years. And it is so integral to be in compliance with what's happening. And they have spent the money and taken the time to do that. And so check it out. Again, I don't get anything for it. I just think it's a great resource to have. So what are your thoughts about, under marketing, I do a neighbor's day, invite neighbors. Great. Awesome toy. So what are your thoughts about getting paid? Is it business as usual? Is it a struggle for you? Has your state always had buyer agency representation? Put it in the chat. What do you feel about it? Are you good with it? NAR said the MLS cannot include compensation in the comments. Okay, great. Thank you, Lori. So you cannot we don't talk about, or where to get compensation. So just put it on your voicemail and email. Beautiful. Got it. Thank you, Belinda. Yeah, I appreciate that. You guys are just amazing. That's awesome. So I'm going to stop this because I want to see you guys and I want to see what's happening. All right. So where do you find discounted, Amanda? Oh, okay. I'll have the team reach out to you, Amanda. We are using listing binders in the home that include our state's compensation agreement. Great, Lori. I love that. That's the importance of having community, is knowing all the different things that we can do. So I have invited someone on that some of you will know. She has been a past client of mine and has had amazing success. It's Mary Cade Manwaring. She is out of Asheville, North Carolina. And team, could I get the two of us spotlighted on the, just so I can see her better? And that would be amazing. Mary Cade, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. It's fun to see such a big old group in here.
I know. All your stuff. I just love everybody. I just recognize so many people and so many names. And, Mary Cade, you have been a past client. And I guess I wanted to invite you on here just to get your take of what is there a place for coaching today, in this market, and maybe your experience and what, like I said yesterday, we didn't talk like what we're going to talk about or anything. So I'm putting her on the spot.
Yeah. No problem.
Yeah. Any successes you had or what your feel is about coaching now?
Yeah. So I would say first of all, before I do that, let me jump back into that fee central place
Yeah.
and just tell you what my experience here has been. Somebody locally created something like that called Agent Wire. And so our company jumped on and we pull our stuff on Agent Wire. And then the commission came and said, that's an MLS. If you're getting agents together to look at something, that technically becomes an MLS and therefore you can't do it. So Agent Wire had to pull the plug and shut itself down.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Fee Central, it's a great idea and it would be helpful for the rest of us, but I don't know around the country. I don't know if that was a North Carolina thing or if that was an NAR thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
they have hired the #1 real estate attorneys in the US that have watched the entire thing and what they have, because they're just, it's almost like a spreadsheet. So I don't know, maybe it is something that they will down, but for right now, it's really been.
If it's
powerful.
working right now, then absolutely do it. Yeah. So is there room for coaching? Are you kidding me? This is the market. I mean, when there's not room for coaching is when everybody's so busy, they're just holding on to their hair and running, selling things and listing things. Right now, everybody needs coaching. I mean, everybody needs coaching all the time. I think as a professional realtor, as a professional anybody, but particularly as a professional realtor, we should always be coached because the industry is always changing. It's always growing. It's always shifting. There's new technology. There's different ways of doing, some markets are like this and some markets are like that. And I think to be our best professional selves and know how to ride any market, we always need coaching.
Yeah.
I really am just a believer in always having a coach to grow your business, whether you're a team. I'm doing some team, sort of reinventing my team right now, or whether you're a solo agent. You always need to know how to better yourself, how to show up the best way, how to keep your marketing materials on point, the whole thing. So absolutely, yes. And especially now in this really shifting, uncertain market.
Right. When we met, I can remember the conversation and you were almost thinking about getting out of the business back then, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
You were just like, I don't know. I'm just done. I'm just cooked. I'm fried. I'm done.
Yeah.
And you turned everything around and you built a team of 5 agents underneath you, dominated, you're always #1 in your office, always #1 in your region. And what did that look like? You don't have to give us financial numbers. We don't want to know what your bank account looks like, but you can certainly share. But how did that change your life and your world? Because when you joined us, you were like, I'm done. I don't want to do this. And then we were like, well, wait a minute. You've got a lot going on for you. And let's just kind of shift this and move in this direction. And it worked that you wanted to build, well, you didn't want to build a team. Let's put it that way. But what happened?
Right. Well, so I was really not interested in building a team. I had been a solo agent my entire career. I had become a broker in charge and the top producing agent in the office at the same time, which got to be a little too much. Decided that a broker in charge is really not my highest and best use at all.
No way. No way.
So not my gig. And so then I was just trying to figure out what was next, and I'm really tired of being a solo agent. And the team idea I was really uncertain about, but you convinced me that I should try it.
Fine.
And I went
for everybody, so don't worry.
It's not. It is not for everybody, for sure. But I kind of went kicking and screaming, but it was really fun. It became a really fun challenge for me to set up a team, to set up the systems, to set up the team, to hire my first assistant, to hire my first transaction coordinator, and then to start recruiting buyer agents. And it was really a lot of fun. And then the thing that I loved most about that process and have loved over the years the most about it is I love the sense of community, of doing business together.
Yeah.
I love being a team. I love having, I'm a natural leader. And so I love having people to teach and to train and to lead and to encourage them and to lift them up and to help them grow their businesses and to watch them succeed and watch them be happy and fulfilled. And I kind of modeled my team after what you did. So I do a lot of mindset coaching
Mhm.
on my team as well,
Yeah.
which is another part that's super fun for me.
Yeah. And
So
that's a huge
that's,
part. Yeah. Of
yeah,
coaching.
it's a huge part of it. So that has been, it's just been a great experience.
Yeah.
And then to get to the money part of it, the first time that a check landed in my account from something somebody else had done that I didn't even have to do anything except run the team, I was like, oh, that's what I'm doing. I get it. So
You
I've
get
come
checks without working. I
I've
love
come
that.
very much to enjoy that part.
I remember that I think it was 2 years ago, you went to Italy for 3 weeks.
Yes, I did.
And this past summer, you bought a little lake house, and
Yes.
that I can't remember you working all summer, but that's, you did. I'm sure you did.
I did here and there.
But that was the beauty of leveraging. I always say leverage is life,
Yes.
because you get to live a life, and
Yes.
that you were able to. It's been amazing to watch what you have done with just building a life worth living, and that it's not sucking your soul out. And it really came from an idea to
Yeah.
build a team that maybe you're like, but it worked for you for sure.
It did work for me. And the leverage is life is really, that is so accurate. I mean, I just sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, look how much leverage I have. I have all these agents and assistants and all this stuff. And
Mhm.
something happens and it kind of passes through me and I just pass it on to somebody else and they actually do the work. I'm like,
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that. It works and it looks really good on you, by the way. And so now, just moving into the next season, taking some new ways of doing business, you're repurposing and reinventing,
Mhm.
because now is a time, guys, for reinvention. It's not business as usual. It's doing something different. You've got to be ahead of the curve and ahead of the game, which I know Mary Kate is. And so I really appreciate you being here. Any last words or anything you want to share with the group? It's always nice to.
I would really like to just encourage everybody to not get bogged down in this NAR stuff.
Mhm.
It can be very discouraging. It can be very annoying, and having those conversations over and over and over. I get annoyed too. I was out having a drink with somebody the other day, and all anybody wanted to talk about was the NAR stuff. And I was like, I would rather be home by myself than having this conversation again.
Yeah, over and over and over.
It's getting old, but we do have to have those conversations. And I know it's different. Y'all are from all over the United States, probably. It's different in different states. But if you can maintain, I remember on the first day of this seminar, Karen, you were saying something about standing around the water cooler and whining and bitching. Well,
I didn't say bitching.
You didn't say that. Sorry. I said that.
It's all good. It's all good. Whining.
But you can be that person that does that, and that is only going to drag down you and everybody else in the office. Or you can be the person that speaks encouraging words to other people, including yourself, about this process, and be able to tell people the media is telling the wrong story out there, as we all know. The media has told the completely wrong story. That's not what's going on at all. And so if we can educate people, and if we can just keep having the conversations and help our buyers and sellers to understand, especially our sellers to understand, compensating buyers agents is 100% in your best interest. And showing the buyers your value and letting them understand that, you're working for them, you'll always see compensation on the other side first. But just having these conversations, and just don't stress out, just let it be, walk through it, keep learning, keep growing, keep listening to conversations. It's also, as we know, it's changing all the time. Like one lawyer says this, another one says this. I mean, it's kind of crazy how fast it's changing, but it'll sort itself out. Just don't get discouraged.
Exactly. I think that's well said. It is just business as usual. If you are in a state that has had buyer agency representation, it's the same conversation. We don't have to, they may have questions about it, just being educated to how to respond on that. And I have my script of what I always had a buyer agency agreement because I got burned so many times where they go around to the builder, they go around to the home, the for sale by owner that I showed them. And because I don't have a problem working with for sale by owners because I have a buyer brokerage agreement. Do you find that to be the same for you, Mary Kay, that you're having the same conversation you've always had, or has it changed?
It's pretty much the same as it's always. North Carolina has buyer agency and has had forever. So we've always had to have this conversation. The conversation is a little bit different now just because the media is turning this into something that it's not. And I'm having to explain more, about I will always seek compensation from the seller. And if they don't, then, here's what I'll come to you for, but we'll know that beforehand.
Yeah.
And one thing, somebody in my office said that I wanted to tell y'all was when you're having a conversation with a seller about providing buyer agency compensation, and they're like, oh yeah, I don't have to do that anymore. First of all, yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
And y'all all know how to explain to a seller how important it is to offer a buyer agency compensation, because nobody wants to show a house with 0% compensation. But one of the things that you can do is explain, we want a buyer that's standing on your doorstep with the realtor before the realtor opens the lockbox, not to be standing there asking the realtor, am I going to have to pay an extra 3% on top of this house?
Yeah.
And to be walking through your house wondering, like, is this house cost $500,000 plus 3%? Or, what you want is you want them standing on the doorstep of your house, excited to go in and just walking in and going, oh, the couch could go there and the baby crib could go over there, and dreaming and visioning, not worrying about financials. So if you kind of put it that way to your seller and just say, take the pressure off of the buyers, offer this, that is the best way to sell your house, then that really helps the buyers kind of understand and see, the sellers, really understand and see the importance of offering that to the buyer agent.
Exactly. And doing the net sheet for them so that they can see what it's important that their home be shown, that it's going to be in the mix, and that no one's stressed about that. I think that's very well said. Yeah, very well said. Amazing. Well, thank you for being here. And
of course, my pleasure.
Yeah, it's always been a journey to see you grow and see you always go to the next level. And it's always been, you've had a heart for community and for that coaching. So anyway, I'm glad that you were able to be here today.
Thank you, Karen. And thank you for getting me where I am, because it was you. I will say that it was you. I just did what you said.
Yes, you did. And you just did what I said. You were amazing. You just were so coachable. All right. Well,
Thanks.
guys, I want to share with you the script that I have that I use with buyers to get that buyer agency. Before I do, I just want to encourage you, go to KarenCoffee.com/reinvention and look at everything that is included, so that I just want to help you. And if you want in on this afternoon's mastermind, it's a semi-private breakout where we're going to be talking about the new resources, the #1 quality leads and things like that. It is $9.97 for the year. It is $97 a month. You can do that totally fine. Or it's $9.97. I don't know of any coaching program that is less than $1,000 for a year. And that doesn't mean that there isn't content. There is. You get marketing pieces every month that you can use to lead generate, to advertise your clients, listings, for everything in the world. And they're beautiful. They're just beautiful. You get the mindset piece that Mary Kay was talking about, because she does that with her team because it works. It works. So I want you guys to have strong fourth quarters. There's not a smaller investment in the world for this kind of quality coaching, and for the amount of just forward movement that you will have. If you get one transaction sold in a year, you have 10x'd your investment. I don't even know what to say. So you don't have to pay $3,500 a month to coach with me. And you still have the group community, you have all the resources, and yeah, There is a portal toy. Thank you. She said, will there be a portal we can log into for materials? Yes, absolutely. So it is a portal, and all past calls, all marketing pieces, all mindset. I do a vendor spotlight of the vendors that I think you should check out. And when you can afford it, you can do that. But yes, it is there for you 24/7. If you miss the calls, you can be on that portal listening to whatever you missed. The great thing about that is you can put it on 1.5 speed and get through so fast that you can listen to a whole hour in 30 minutes. So I think this is just a resource that you want to have in your back pocket. This is not something that you really want to be without. And I'm not, that's why I brought Mary Kate on today, and I brought Danielle on yesterday, because for me to tell you is one thing, but when other people tell you, that's different. I don't like tooting my own horn. I don't like saying, oh, okay, wow. I know that I'm a builder of things that really help others, help them succeed, help them to get to the next level. I don't know where the gift came from. I just know that it was given, and I just want to impart it upon you guys. So yes, Imminent, we are really glad that you are a part of it, because you did join, and we're glad. It's going to be exciting. Our first call is Tuesday. Next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Pacific. So you have your first training with me. It's a coaching call with me. And the mastermind, again, for anyone who wants to pay for the year, is this afternoon at, I keep forgetting, 2:00 Eastern time. All right. Now I'm going to share my screen one more time. And again, that link is in the chat. It's KarenCoffee.com. Oh, Karen Coffee. It's a different one. Let me see. It's in the chat. Just click it. I know they know what they're doing. And so let me share. And I'm going to share with you again what I use for my conversations with buyer agents. It's very similar to what Mary Kate was talking about. So this is all in how you present it. So listen to how my cadence is. Listen, it's not, hey, you know, there's this court case and we have to have this signed and we don't have an option and you have to sign this before I open any homes and yada, yada. You don't even have to go into, you may or may not have heard. There's a recent court case, but if it makes you feel better, I want you to use it. So this is, you may or may not have heard, there was a recent court case where it is a requirement of all realtors in the United States to have a signed buyer agreement before we're allowed to show you any homes. That document states that in the event we find a home of your dreams, I will be compensated. 95% of the time, the seller of the home covers it, and it's not a big deal. However, there is about a 5% chance that they won't. I will always ask the seller to cover the compensation like they have done for decades. If a seller wants to sell their home, they typically will. They will do this. If they don't, then you and I will talk about how compensation works. Sometimes I will put an offer in and it will cover the compensation. Sometimes they're already agreed to pay that compensation. So does that sound good to you? And are you ready to go look at some homes today? So this is very just, it's a lot of words. What I would say for you is to just really share conversationally. This isn't a season of meeting them at the home, which from recent events, we don't want to do anyway. It is about bringing them. And you can even say, part of my service is that we need to meet at the office, or we need to meet at Starbucks, or we need to meet somewhere. And we'll go over how things have changed in the industry and how we will work together in the future. The other thing that, they are allowed to cancel this agreement. One of the things I always said was, in other words, they're not stuck with me for life. I am not charging them a contract cancellation fee. But, I always used to say, look, you're not tied to me for life. If we go out and we look at homes and you're just not happy with me, you don't like the way I wear my hair, you don't like my outfit, I don't care. I don't know, whatever it might be. All you have to do is just send something in writing and you're free and clear. But for me to show you homes today, I do need to have it signed, and I don't want you worrying about a thing. We're going to handle it. And if something comes, down the pike, we're going to handle it together. And that's it. So, like Mary Kate said, don't stress about it. Don't stress about it. Just business as usual. Get out there, show homes, be amazing, and be who you are. So, we've talked about how to get listed, get sold, and get paid. It is about taking your business to a higher level. So right now, I would love to invite each and every one of you, just each and every one of you. I know who's on here. I'm going to remove my spotlight so I can even see you better. But I want to invite each and every one of you to come along this journey together with me. This is something new. This is something on my heart that I felt led to create, where it's a portal, where it's a place where we can actually get high-level coaching without just all the, I don't know, there's some crazy stuff out there. Each month we are talking about a different theme. Each month we're getting in co-working mode and we're working together, and we're also in a Q&A together. You get the marketing pieces, you get the vendor spotlight, you get the community, but more than anything, you're going to get the steps, the platforms, anything that you might need to just really elevate your business, to be that expert. So I would love for you, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. I'm happy to answer them, but meet me on the mastermind, hopefully. Go to today at 2:00. And if you can't just find a financial way to do that, then take your Starbucks money and spend your $97 a month to get you to that next level, So if there's any questions, I'll answer them. If not, I will see some of you at 2 p.m. What's a good script for buyers who are wanting to represent themselves with a listing agent? You know, Amanda, I believe that we have to show and know our value when it comes to, say, you can absolutely represent yourself. Are they asking you to show the home though, Amanda? Or they're just telling you, oh, I'm going to do it on my own, like when you call and reach out to them? Oh, Toy, I'm so excited. They call you, Amanda? Or I'm sorry, you call them? You said yes, and I didn't see what you said yes to. Yes, and we have a community to share in, to give referrals to. Yeah. Anyway, so if you call a buyer and they are saying, look, I don't want representation, I'm going to represent myself. And you say, well, great. Have you thought that through completely? You know that the agent represents the homeowner. They don't represent you. And they're not legally bound to share with you certain things. They call listing agent to show. Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, they went around you already when they're calling the listing agent to show. But if you do talk with someone like that, just reminding them, look, the listing agent has no real loyalty to you. They don't have to disclose certain things to you. The seller is more than likely paying a compensation anyway, which pays for my service. But more than anything, I'm there to negotiate the best price. I can tell you the listing agent is never going to do that, is never going to assist you in negotiating against them. You need me whether you know it or not. So I'll tell you what, I'll meet you at Starbucks at 4:00 and I'll show you exactly everything that I'm going to do for you. And I know you're trying to save money. I get it, but you're going to lose money on the negotiation side if you don't have somebody in your corner. End of story. So that's what I would say. Hope that helps. All right. So, Anne, yes, there's a community. We get to share. We get to give referrals. It is a complete ecosystem of agents that really are supporting one another. Maria, thank you. You said thank you for all your time. Unable to join at this time. Okay, you got a 6 weeks at EXP. Gotcha. Training. You need to focus on that, but I want you to come back. I want you to come back in 6 weeks and continue the journey. So wonderful. I do want to share that you were the one that got me to my next level after your Making Agents Wealthy coaching. I have achieved my annual goals at, oh, that's amazing, Maria. I'm so happy. And this is, it's just so good to read that. And it shares with me, because I didn't do one-on-one coaching in Making Agents Wealthy program either. Now, I had coaches that did. If you are the type of person that you're like, Karen, I really need someone to talk to me every 2 weeks, we've got you. It's fine. We're happy to talk with you. We're happy to set you up with a one-on-one coach. But I don't want that to be a barrier to financial entry. There is no, I am taking away all friction, all of the objection when it comes to price, because you'll never get a value like that for $97. So join us. I look forward to seeing you guys. Get on the link, and it is in the chat, and appreciate all of you for being here and spending the last 4 days with me. You could have been anywhere in the world, and I can't wait to see you. Toy, I love your smiling face, and I'm so glad you joined. All right, guys, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.